We're a group of young men that play music, and we call ourselves the Hate Drugs. This specific group of boys started as a different group of guys. It was Josiah, myself, Norman, our friend Kyle, and our other friend Josiah started like jamming together. And we were just like playing music like every week, just jamming, and it wasn't anything really organized. We were playing music at church. Josiah one day just threw out the name Hate Drugs, and I thought it was like kind of cool, so I wrote it on my shoe, on like a pair of Vans that I had, and I went to our like practice, and they were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's our band name." And then, so from there on, we kind of referred to like our little group, our jam group, as Hate Drugs. And then I hit up Adrian, and he was in Mexico at the time with his family on vacation, and he got this like huge text message from me, like basically saying everything. And I was like, "I want you to like jam with us and see if it's a good fit." And when he came back from Mexico, we jammed, and it was like, it just clicked. He was best friends with John, and so he brought John along as a bass player, because we didn't have a bass player either.
I didn't even play bass.
Yeah, he didn't. He literally bought a bass the day before he showed up at that jam session.
He was just guessing the whole time.
Yeah, I was just guessing.
And like, to be honest, he wasn't that good, but we clicked as people, and we saw, like, I saw how much John loved music and how passionate he was about it. John was musical. Even though he didn't play bass, he was in choir and stuff. So it wasn't like he was just like new to music. He was musical, he just wasn't a bass player. And we all just like, we just started making music like right off the bat. Like it wasn't even like 2 practices in, and we were like already making new music.
I definitely am inspired by artists like Little Dragon and M83, and what drives me, food usually, and love. And love is the most important thing, and that's about it.
Bands that inspire me, probably along the lines of Selena and Juanes. That's not true, but I just want to throw that out. And things that drive me are, you know, being able to connect with people through music, and being able to, you know, get to know people in different cities that happen to have, you know, the same commonality, which is loving music. Yeah.
I think just like, it's like the little things around me, like things that inspire me, just things that I see and things that I hear that I latch on to. I think the search for purpose and the search for love, there are a lot of things that I think are innate as humans that we're hardwired to look for in life. You're never gonna find it. I think one of the things about like inspiration is like you're never satisfied. It's like hunger. It's like you'll be satisfied for a little bit, but it keeps you going back for more. It almost makes you more hungry the more you eat it. So I think for me that's it.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest bands that inspires me is Kings of Leon. Big fan of them. And Jared, the bass player. Also, like local bands as well. Like seeing some bands like die off, and like not like, I don't want that to happen to us. I want to live something where every day I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing what I love.
I'm not exactly sure what music tends to inspire me, or like any specific bands. I mean, because I listen to so much. If I hear something that I like and I find the music in it, I find the talent in it, then I'm probably going to listen to it, and I think, wow, that's cool. I would like to do what those guys are doing. My goal is to do everything the wrong way and have it turn out better than everyone expected.
I think a lot of bands migrate to the nearest big city and claim that city. And I think something about us that is congruent throughout is that we all own Bakersfield. And Bakersfield isn't like thought of as a very like cool place, or as like a place that's like sought after to be like associated with. Bakersfield has been so much of a part of who I am, because I moved here at a very like important time in my life, like in my development. that now, like, this city has shaped me, and to abandon that is to kind of abandon myself in a way. It's important that we own the place that we come from, because it's so much a part of who we are.
A huge thing that, I mean, is apparent to everyone trying to do anything in life is just to have a living, you know, get to like be able to do what you love every single day and be able to, you know, like sustain yourself.
Going nationwide on a tour is like, that's a really big step, and basically like sustaining that and I mean sticking together and just continuing to work hard. That's pretty much where, you know, like if we keep doing that, it'll lead us places.
My goal is that within the next, you know, 3 or 4 years, be able to commit 100% of our time to music and be able to sustain ourselves financially doing that, so that we have more time to create the music and we have more time to like grow as artists, and also just to be able to travel the world and share our art and our experience with other people.
I think there are a lot of people who go into music and just say like, this is, I don't care how much we grow, or they're just living in the moment. And I think what sets us apart from some bands is that we're living like over here, like we're expecting something greater, or at least hoping for something greater. I don't necessarily care if we're or hope to be the next, you know, 1975 or the next Beatles or something like that, which would be amazing. But as long as we can do what we love, which is making music, and have that be a living and support our families and whatnot.
It would be really nice to get to a place where, you know, like I could afford to quit my job, you know, like I work at Guitar Center and I love Guitar Center. I mean, I would like to see us get to a place where if like I have to move anything besides my guitar, someone didn't do their job, you know?
How much you paying me?
I don't know, man.
Guitar, dude.
It's like, you want the job?
About to go on the biggest journey of probably any of our lives. Yeah, I knew it'd happen at some point.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it would happen in this way.
Yeah, I would say this is what I would say. I would say 2 years ago, I saw us at this point, like just about to leave on our first national tour. But a month and a half ago, I didn't. And what I mean by that is that I knew that it would happen eventually, and I believed in it, but I had no clue a month and a half ago that we would be going on this trip a month and a half like later. You know what I mean? Like, this thing came together so quickly, and like the people that were involved in making it happen and everything, it was just like
it was amazing.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. And so much of the story of Hate Drugs revolves around crazy stuff happening at a crazy time. To the outside perspective, it would seem like we have such a like crazy plan, and all these people like working and making all this stuff happen, and it's all so organized and like structured and stuff. But really, we're just kind of going with the flow of what happens. Time, that's the biggest one. Because like what we were saying before, like Norman's got work at Guitar Center, he works a lot. John quit his job for this tour. I have a job, you know, that is very, fortunately my job is very flexible with me, super supportive. But you know, we all have to work, and we have to, you know, to eat. We're adults, you know, and we take care of ourselves. We're doing it on our own and making time for what we love, and then also having time to be able to support, you know, what we do. That's the biggest struggle. Like, just getting the 5 of us in one place at one time all together is like almost impossible, but we do it. And so like that's the biggest challenge, I would say. You guys agree?
Yeah, I would say another challenge is probably money.
Yeah.
That's the next biggest challenge.
It's a sacrifice.
But it's definitely a sacrifice, and it usually tends to work in our favor somehow. Last minute, work in our favor for whatever it may be that we need money for. I would say, as cliche as it is, practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, when we were starting off, we practiced so much and for so long. And that's what I think has made us as tight of a band as we are.
I would say like establish relationships and like make that like one of the most important goals, because that's really gonna drive the music. And also like have faith. I think that's like one of the biggest advantages that I can think of in our story and in what we're doing, is that we have so much faith that things are gonna work out, and we step out in that faith and believe that it's gonna work out. And if you speak things as though they are, you know, even if they're not that will fall into place, and you have to believe that it will. Without God, it's not really possible, and that's one of the biggest things. Starting a band or starting a project or whatever, put yourself out there. Don't be shy, you know, and lean on the people around you. You know, build a network of people that support you, because that's really probably the most important part.
Do it because that's what you want to do.